In tech news this week, is the Chinese government spying on the military? The Pentagon makes a move to protect our armed forces. Kim joins us for another chapter in the long-time question, could your phone be causing cancer? And how can you tell if cyber criminals have hacked your information?
Now, let's get the latest from the Komando.com news desk.
Twitter has over 336 million users, and each and every one of them are being advised to change their password. A technical bug exposed all passwords in plain text. It happened on Twitter's internal log, so as of right now, there's nothing to suggest a breach or some kind of misuse. Remember to be smart when you change your password. Enable two-factor authentication on your Twitter account, and you can use a password manager to create a strong, unique password. And if you pick your own, don't reuse a password that you've had for another account or website. In an effort to protect our military, Chinese cell phones get the boot. The Pentagon has banned the sale of Huawei and ZTE phones on military bases. These are two of China's largest tech firms, and they may have ties to the communist government. The Department of Defense says the devices from Huawei and ZTE pose an unacceptable risk. The heads of the FBI and CIA have previously warned all of us not to use the products. There are concerns the phones can be used by the Chinese government to spy on Americans. Kim Komando also recommends staying away from these phones. And for a better understanding of why Huawei and ZTE phones are not trusted, listen to the Komando On Demand podcast titled, Is the Chinese Government Using Smartphones to Spy on You? Well, it seems like everybody is taking Uber these days, but are they really safe? Women who ride share are being warned after a disturbing CNN investigation. It found that over 100 drivers have been accused of sexual assault or abuse in the past 4 years. Uber promises its customers a safe ride home, and that doesn't always happen. The same investigation found nearly 20 cases of alleged assault by Lyft drivers and a handful of convictions. Most public transportation services release data about arrests and are subject to public record requests. Ride-sharing companies share very little information about how often crimes happen. Before you call for another ride, head to the Happening Now section of Komando.com and you'll find some vital tips on how you can be safe. In an effort to make more money, Amazon wants to scan your body. The retail giant is inviting people to take part in a 3D body scanning experiment. According to reports, those selected will have the size and shape of their body monitored over a 20-week period. They would be scanned every 2 weeks for about a half an hour. It's believed that Amazon is likely working to create a system for customers to virtually try on clothes or shop for styles that fit their body shape. Amazon is already expected to pass Walmart this year as the largest apparel retailer. And speaking of Amazon, they're the third largest company in America. It's worth nearly $700 billion. But the company does not come without problems. One of its biggest, counterfeit products. Despite efforts to crack down on fake sellers, they remain prevalent on Amazon's marketplace. The number of counterfeits has convinced several retailers to ditch the service. You can take several measures to avoid receiving a counterfeit item. Go now to the Happening section of Komando.com. A massive tech merger could soon shake up the cell phone industry, not necessarily in a good way. Kim talks about this proposed marriage and how it might end up costing us all.
T-Mobile and Sprint are merging into one company. Good news for investors, bad news for consumers. For the last 3 years, both T-Mobile and Sprint have been in desperate financial waters. But with very aggressive marketing and low-cost data plans, both staged a comeback. T-Mobile emerged as the lowest-cost provider. And if this $26 billion merger takes place, T-Mobile CEO John Legere will run the new company known only as Sprint, the new low-cost company, but not as low as T-Mobile. The T-Mobile name will disappear altogether, along with its most budget-priced data plans. Unlimited plans will likely disappear too. Where the nation now has 4 large cellular providers, there will only be 3, meaning fewer choices for you and me. Now, there's a decent chance that regulators will not approve the merger. We can only hope. The thing about smartphones is that they've gotten expensive, very expensive. And the numbers from Apple and Samsung seem to say that consumers are finally getting fed up. Apple announced how its products sold during the first 3 months of 2018. As expected, overall company profits are up. Apple says that the iPhone X sold well, which is to say, just a little better than last year, but not quite what they forecast from the 10th anniversary iPhone. Meanwhile, over at Samsung, sales of the Galaxy S9 are the lowest they've ever been for a Galaxy phone, for the first time since 2004. Regardless of the brand, and even with the stunning new technology of today's smartphones, customers are no longer lining up to buy them. It's very possible that the world is ready for a low-cost budget smartphone, one that's not dependent on the latest technology, and one that won't break the bank.
This week on Komando On Demand, we have two great podcasts for you. The first is about how you can make some extra money this summer online. We have 5 great ways that you can start to earn money, and all you need is an internet connection. And have you ever wondered how anyone other than a penguin can live in the South Pole? Well, we take you through what it's like to be a scientist living in the South Pole and what you have to do to survive there. That's on the Komando On Demand podcasts, and you can get them on the Komando app or on your favorite podcast player by searching Komando. More news coming up next. NASA's next spacecraft is scheduled to lift off tomorrow. It'll make a 6-month journey to Mars. Once it gets there, the plan is to monitor for Mars quakes. The spacecraft is carrying instruments to analyze inside the red planet. A seismometer will be used to detect possible quakes, and a probe will drill 15 feet into the surface. Scientists want to figure out if Mars quakes occur on the planet and determine the size and shape of the planet's core. Parents in several states are creeped out after frightening packages have been sent to over 50 young girls across multiple states. The FBI is on alert after more than 50 kids received unsolicited packages. Experts call this a case of technology-facilitated grooming. That's where predators use the internet to find young victims. Next, they learn about them, which makes the victims more susceptible. So here's the bottom line. We have to be vigilant when keeping tabs on kids' social media interactions, either online or offline. Go to Komando.com for information on what to do if your child's targeted. You can also find invaluable information on how to protect your child from online predators. Scammers will stop at nothing to get your cash. Social media swindlers will even pretend to be Mark Zuckerberg. Con artists have taken to Facebook and Instagram to extort money. The phony Zuckerberg accounts offer users thousands of dollars in winnings because a guy worth $70 billion trying to fix his company's privacy issues has free time to run a lottery. The scam is a simple one. Cyber crooks tell you that you've won $750,000 in the Facebook lottery. All you have to do is send an iTunes gift card or cash to collect your big prize. And remember, if a prize requires you to send any money to receive it, it's likely fake. For more information on how many fake Zuckerberg accounts are out there, go to Komando.com. The embattled political consulting firm Cambridge Analytica announced it was closing and filing for bankruptcy earlier this week. This comes less than 2 months since Cambridge Analytica and Facebook were implicated in a data harvesting scandal. Britain's Information Commissioner will continue to investigate the firm for any possible crimes. Cambridge Analytica denies breaking any laws or involved in any wrongdoing when accessing the personal details of millions of people. Its leadership blames the media for its demise and losing clients. Hours before Cambridge Analytica said goodbye, Twitter blocked the company from buying ads. Twitter claimed Cambridge could not be an advertiser because of business conflicts. This week, we learned the researcher who obtained Facebook data and sold it to Cambridge Analytica also had access to some Twitter data. The information was provided when the researcher was working for a different company. Microsoft has now released the latest version of Windows 10. The update is primarily focused on time, task management, and a few privacy tweaks. There have been a few hiccups, though. Some users are finding that the Chrome Internet browser becomes unresponsive and crashes after installing the update. Microsoft says it's working to fix the issue. The Windows 10 update was supposed to arrive earlier this month, but there was a blue screen of death problem. You can get a complete look at everything the major update offers by going to Komando.com. Cyber criminals are ruthless and unforgiving. If you become a victim, you need to act fast. Kim has important clear-cut signs that you've been hacked.
Hackers are relentless. They're constantly looking for opportunities to break into your devices and steal your money, your identity, and even your sanity. Hi there, I'm Kim Komando, America's Digital Pro, reporting for USA Today. We make it easy for hackers to do their job because usually we're pretty lax in securing our devices. Computers, phones, routers, webcams, they're all vulnerable to cyber criminals. And those cyber crooks are so sneaky that sometimes you don't even know that they broke in. Today, I'm going to share some clear-cut signs to look for that might indicate that you've been hacked. First up, is your gadget suddenly slowing down? Malicious software could be running in the background, secretly eating up your gadget's resources. Another red flag, did your data usage spike? Compare the amount used month to month. And if you notice sudden spikes in your data activity, even though you haven't changed your patterns, chances are you're infected with malware or a secret keylogger. Next, if your antivirus software or task manager are either crashing or disabled, a nasty virus has likely taken hold of your critical system files. You also may not be able to click on once reliable apps. In the worst case scenario, ransomware may prevent you from opening your favorite files. Finally, keep an eye on your email sent folder and your social networking posts. If you notice emails and posts that you don't remember sending or posting, it's likely you've been hacked. Hackers work hard to get their hands on your usernames and passwords. And once they have them, they can gain access to your bank accounts, your social media profiles, and your online accounts. I have more signs that you've been hacked and ways to protect yourself from all of these in my USA Today column this week. And you can always call my national radio show and speak with me directly with any digital lifestyle questions that you might have. Just head over to Komando.com and click on Ask Kim for details. And I'll see you on the radio.
And just a reminder, if you're not already getting my podcast delivered to you automatically, make sure that you subscribe on Apple iTunes or Google Play. And by the way, this podcast is not The Kim Komando Show. You could learn more about The Kim Komando Show podcast by heading over to getkim.com. That's getkim.com.